In addition to her looks, what side of Dilireba has been developed in Let's Start Reasoning 2? When the reasoning results were announced, Dilireba and Jinjing screamed happily and hugged each other, and the other guests were stunned. The satisfaction of the script-killing murderer players was experienced by both of them at this moment. This was the first time that Dilireba was selected as X since the broadcast of Let's Start Reasoning this season, which helped the flying guest Jinjing escape with 0 votes. After nearly 10 years of development, reasoning variety shows have become an indispensable track in the domestic variety show market and have cultivated a fixed audience. Whether to focus on the brain-burning reasoning of the core tricks of the case, or to focus on the interaction of guests in a funny and joyful book, is a difficult choice that every player in this track needs to consider. The first season of Let's Start Reasoning created a strange building, using highly immersive real scenes with reasoning to bring the audience a unique viewing experience. In the second season of this year, the gameplay has been further upgraded, from finding a single murderer to adding a gameplay that is more inclined to the mechanism camp. The guest lineup has been changed, and Dilireba and Zhangling have joined, colliding different sparks in the reasoning group. According to the data from the Lighthouse Professional Edition, Let's Start Reasoning 2 won the daily championship with a 14.04% market share of the entire network on the day of its premiere, and currently topped the list of new variety show feature film broadcasts in May. Creating a group of reasoning groups and cultivating reasoning groups with the audience in front of the screen may be one of the most appropriate solutions given by Let's Start Reasoning 2 in the current market environment. Reasoning variety shows, what are we watching? The reasoning variety show track has been rolled for too many years. Selecting a detective, discovering a homicide case in a specific background, and the detective leading the guest group to search for evidence and reasoning together to find the real murderer in the guest group has become a fixed routine for solving case reasoning variety shows. The popularity of reasoning variety shows has even directly led to the rise of the entertainment method of script killing. According to a media consulting data, as early as 2021, the market size of the domestic script killing industry has exceeded 10 billion. However, only working on treacherous techniques and complex storylines can easily raise the audience threshold of reasoning variety shows. Therefore, it is necessary to prevent the core audience from feeling tired and to attract new audiences at the same time, which depends heavily on the transformation and upgrading of the program. Let's Start Reasoning 2 has achieved more outstanding innovations in gameplay. The second season is designed with 5 permanent guests and 1 flying guest. The player lineup is divided into 4 suspects and 2 pushers, but after the real murderer passes the test, he can choose one of the 2 pushers to blacken him into X. The task of X is to try to help the real murderer escape in the next investigation. The appearance of the character X adds a game link similar to werewolf killing to the original single reasoning story. In addition to solving the case, the guests must also pay attention to observing other people's emotions and words, which increases the interactivity between the guests. The design of the script story has not been relaxed because of the program format based on immersive role-playing. In the 5th episode of Let's Start Reasoning 2 aired last week, there was even a case setting of double dead and double murderers, which significantly increased the complexity. It is not enough to simply upgrade the case methods and reasoning gameplay. The design of the scene and guest styling also needs to be carefully designed with a sense of atmosphere to make the audience and guests more immersed. As early as the first season, the main creative team attached great importance to visualization. We just want to leave a deep impression on the guests at the very beginning, so we arranged a more powerful mechanism. Appropriate secret room links can also strengthen the impression that the reasoning team exerts the power of the group and strives to solve the puzzle. Let's Start Reasoning 2 uses storylines with different time and space backgrounds. Compared with the modern scenes in the first season that are fixed in a building as a whole, the infinite flow crossing design of multiple time and space backgrounds allows 2is to have a variety of styling styles such as retro, nostalgic, and cyberpunk in the 1920s, 1980s, millenniums, and future time and space, conveying a diverse cultural atmosphere. On the basis of not lowering the threshold of the script, the program's emphasis on immersion has also enhanced the audience's watchability, expanded the audience range, and is more likely to attract audiences in non-traditional reasoning tracks. At the same time, the advantages of the high-value reasoning team are also revealed here. Dilireba's high school senior and mechanical girl looks have frequently appeared on the hot search, which can bring more freshness to the audience and satisfy the fans' demand for the diversified looks of their idols. For the audience of reasoning variety shows, the selection of guest lineup is the core factor that affects the show's highlights. and programs involving puzzles will naturally have more requirements for guests. Guests must have enough brain power and reasoning ability, take into account the show effect, and even because there are many role-playing links in the show, there are certain requirements for the guest's appearance. This is the problem that market selection brings to Let's Start Reasoning too. Fortunately, they used the HLMOU reasoning group of the training system to hand in a fairly good answer sheet. Growing reasoning group. The audience's requirements for reasoning guests are getting higher and higher, and it has almost become a common understanding in the market. When the second season announced the lineup, Bayu, Liu Yuning, and Jokyu may have accumulated from the previous season, but the newly joined Dilireba, Zhang Ling, and the flying guests in each issue, how will they perform in terms of brain power? I'm afraid every audience will have a small question in their hearts first. But after 6 episodes of Let's Start Reasoning 2, the audience can already see the labels and growth of the guests. Bayu is an outstanding tank in the secret room, and he has been able to provide a full sense of security to all the guests since the first season. But as the program progresses, he is also bold and careful. He often points out key evidence in the evidence search. Even if he becomes the murderer, he can remain calm and hide every detail. After the black light, Bayu is the reassurance of the reasoning team. He is very active in finding clues to complete tasks. He is good at playing the wild outside silently. In the second season, he contributed the famous scene of catching NPCs with bare hands, and walked out of his own unique style. In the 6th episode, when others were discussing the case, Bayu played an excellent sense of space on the side and found that the secret room in the small auditorium could lead directly to the laundry room. Jokyu also mentioned his transformation from timid to bold in the interview. In the second season, he has grown into the second largest tank position besides Bayu. In the reasoning link, he highlights a point of open-mindedness, and always has new ideas when sorting out clues. When reviewing the case in this episode, it was first proposed that someone might be cursing everyone in the name of the deceased. This hypothesis also provides a basis for further exploring the mystery of the school's strange stories. Although Liu Yuning is always scared to kneel in the secret room, he wins in clear logic and actively thinks and proposes new ideas. He has been a big brother type of character who has driven the team's reasoning progress for 2 seasons. At the same time, he is also the atmosphere of the show, with a full sense of variety. For example, when Dilraba said too embarrassing, Liu Yuning would take the initiative to answer, "You embarrassed me again," and never let any stock fall to the ground. And Zhang Ling is the problem solver, and math problems are his comfort zone. The program team specially set up an interesting Zhang Ling small class to let him explain the calculation and reasoning process. For example, in the second episode, it is necessary to infer the time of death. Zhang Ling quickly listed the calculation equations and explained to everyone how to calculate the time difference, and finally successfully derived the real time of death. Although he is good at solving problems, he is inevitably stupid in the first few episodes. When he clears himself of suspicion, he is always at a loss for words, but in the later episodes, he also began to talk nonsense. For example, in the 4th episode, Zhang Ling took the initiative to stand up and call Liu Yuning dad, and Liu Yuning quickly responded, "This height is worthy of my son." In the latest episode, Liu Yuning and Zhang Ling, 2 logic masters, also worked together to introduce the murderer's method of setting up a secret room. Liu Yuning first proposed that it might be a fake secret room that pretended to seal the door with tape and was actually cut open with a knife. Zhang Ling found a loophole in the monitoring range and proposed that the murderer was at the door when the NPC pushed the door, creating a time difference, and directly locked the timeline of the crime. What surprised the audience the most was Dilraba, who is a face queen. This is her first appearance in a reasoning variety show. At the beginning, Dilraba and Liu Yuning were called cowardly brothers and sisters and would grab the corners of people's clothes when the light was turned on. But as the program progressed over several episodes, her talent in reasoning gradually began to show. In the second episode, Jokyu, who had hidden his identity very well, was finally caught by Dilireba at the last moment. He found out that his identity in modern times was not present, so the focus of the whole audience was shifted back to Jokyu, and finally the murderer was successfully identified. Jokyu also admitted after the incident, everything went very smoothly. Later, she suddenly raised her eyes, and I thought it was over. Let's start reasoning to case 2. By the time she was the detective in the 5th episode, Dilireba was able to control the situation maturely and dominate the reasoning rhythm. In the latest episode, Dilireba was selected as the X in the detective, and she contributed a very eye-catching highlight moment in the process of pushing Jinjing to escape with 0 votes. Dilireba cleverly used her sensitivity to emotions as an actor in psychological warfare. In the stage of locking the murderer, Dilireba proposed the possibility that Zhang Ling was the murderer of this episode on the grounds that he had a more sufficient motive and was the only one who remained awake throughout the crime period. Later, because Zhang Ling's attitude of defense was very firm, he and Liu Yuning had a situation of mutual suspicion. Dilireba took advantage of the situation to step on Liu Yuning and protect Zhang Ling at the moment of confrontation between the two. At the same time, she led the suspect's ex to herself, creating the illusion that she was Zhang Ling's ex for others. In the end, she deliberately ignored Zhou Qiyu through her eyes and body language, successfully led by Yu astray, and made the real murderer Jin Jing perfectly invisible in this vote, and finally created a zero-vote escape. Dilireba and Jin Jing cooperated with each other. Reality show audiences love group portraits that each performs their duties and has their own highlights. Whether it is the men's gang of Extreme Challenge or the Running Man group of Running Man, they all present a full image of team spirit in the show, and the audience is happy to see the sparks of the guests and the program IP. As early as the first season was broadcast, the creative team told Dumo, "We hope to use the program to cultivate people, whether they are artists or amateurs, so that everyone can continue to be active on the platform. Continuous activity may give birth to new content, forming a virtuous circle." The team charm of the Hilimoyu Reasoning Team in Let's Start Reasoning 2 lies precisely in the excavation of the distinctive characteristics of each person in the reasoning variety show, thereby enhancing the IP vitality of the program itself. The Hilimoyu team that shuttles through different time and space in Tui Town has become a cultivation reasoning team, allowing the audience to truly experience their growth and keep looking forward to them and the future of the program.